And welcome back to Capital City Sunday. I'm pleased to have the Lieutenant Governor of Wisconsin here today, Rebecca Kleefisch. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Greg.
I know that you were at the announcement and you've known Governor Scott Walker a long time. How do you see him going forward, and what do you think his chances are? This is a very crowded field he's running against.
It's a super crowded field, and I think unique in this field is a whole bunch of actually really qualified candidates.
Yeah, this is in 2012.
This is in 2012. I think we have a couple of retreads, right? And I think we have a couple colorful characters, but Governor Walker is one of those candidates who is being taken very seriously because he not only has a record of fighting, but also a record of winning for taxpayers. And so from what I have heard, 30,000-foot level,
Sure,
from coast to coast, he is very well respected in this field. I think there is no question that he will be on that debate stage because he's polling really well, but I think he's going to go well beyond that. I think he's going to go very deep into this. I would not be surprised if Governor Scott Walker is the next president of the United States of America.
Well, let me ask you about that debate stage, because you mentioned the characters and you mentioned how many people. There's going to be at least 10 up there.
Right.
So how does he separate himself? I don't think anybody looks at Scott Walker and says he's a huge personality. So how does he separate himself given that fact?
Oh, Greg.
Well, you think he's a huge personality?
I think that he is a fighter and a winner, and I think that is how he separates himself. I think you're perhaps right, and that was his biggest ding against him going into this from the very beginning, right? There were people who had really low expectations for Governor Walker and what he did when he got up on the stump. I think in January at the Iowa Freedom Summit, all of a sudden everyone was shocked when he blew people out of the water with a speech that you and I have heard Governor Walker give a number of times.
It was different, but that's a speech, right? That's different than a debate.
Right? He's eloquent, he's funny, and he's really relatable. I think those are three things that he will take into any debate format, and he'll be able to connect with people at home. That's one of the gifts that the governor has. He's very telegenic, right? He can look into a camera and he can truly connect with viewers. He looks at a camera as if it is someone at home. That's not going to be something you're going to find in all of these candidates. He's the same person on TV as he is in person, and that's a pretty special quality.
I would agree that, you know, when I talk to people, I've been to Iowa and I've been to New Hampshire now, and you talk to them and they really feel like he's somebody they could know next door to them. And they say they don't necessarily think that, certainly about a guy like Trump or even Jeb Bush necessarily, but are we putting too much emphasis, I guess, on these debates, and are we putting too much emphasis on the fact that, you know, maybe he's not the guy like Chris Christie who's going to wow people or upset people sometimes.
Which is a liability, right? Yeah. Because you've got to look at Chris Christie in both of those ways. I think that's one of the reasons that Chris Christie has slipped to a second or third tier candidate, and why you see Governor Scott Walker being elevated to a first tier candidate. In everyone's mind, I have talked to political pundits and politicians, experts in these fields alike. They all say that Governor Scott Walker is one of the top three candidates. The others, of course, listed with him, Jeb Bush and Marco Rubio, because those are the candidates being truly taken seriously. They're going to make it into the debates. They're going to perform well on that stage. But you mentioned the debates and the emphasis being put on them. I don't think there is very much emphasis being put on the debates right now. I think most of the emphasis has been on the candidates' rollouts of their actual candidacies. And in that regard, I think Governor Walker was an absolute star. I think what happened at the Waukesha Expo Center the other night was absolutely fantastic. He had an enormous crowd. It was electric in the air. I think that the cameras could tell that. And the crowds that he has been drawing from coast to coast right now in this little tour that he's doing, just extraordinary. I saw pictures yesterday. He's being swarmed by people. That parking lot he did in South Carolina where he just hopped up on a truck bed and took a microphone and addressed this overflow crowd, amazing. Not only did he fill the parking lot, but people were overflowing into the streets. People are hungry for a regular guy feeling and saying the same things they feel and say, but someone who has actually fought that fight for them and won.